Hi guys, it's Legionero. Welcome back to my channel, and I would like to say welcome to all of my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Today I'm doing a tutorial on how to add a recessed zipper to a tote bag. Alright, so this is the tote bag. I use this African wax print fabric that I got from Fine Fabrics, and I've added a recessed zipper using a separating zipper. I will go over all the tools and everything that you need for this tutorial. I will be actually using the pattern, but if you don't have access to that pattern, I will put the measurements in the description box below for you, and all the other relevant information in the description box below. After finishing this tote bag, it is cute. It's a nice size, but in my mind I imagine a tote being larger. So if I were to do this again, I would probably add more to the sides. I would make it wider and maybe a little bit taller. But overall, except for that fact, I like it. I think it's a really cute tote. It has the recessed zipper in here, so that part is great. So let's get started. I'll show you step by step how I put this tote bag together. Hi guys, so since I am not drawing out a pattern on this video, I wanted to show you the actual pattern that I'm using. It's a It's So Easy Simplicity pattern. The number is A2830, and I will put this in the description box below. And I'm only using pattern pieces number 1, number 3, and number 4 from this pattern. Alright, but any pattern will do if you don't feel like drawing out your pattern pieces, because I am going to put the measurements for the pattern pieces in the description box below, just in case you want to actually draw out your pattern pieces. But if you don't want to draw out your pattern pieces, any tote bag pattern will do, and I will just tell you what pieces you need, just in case that pattern doesn't have those pieces in it. All right, but just for reference, I want to show you all which pattern I was actually using. So I've already cut and interfaced all my pieces, but I'm going to go through everything that you're going to need for this tote bag with a recessed zipper. So of course you'll need your zipper. This is a 12-inch separating zipper. I'm going to put handles on mine that you can carry on your arm, but I'm also going to put an adjustable strap on later. So I made me some strap tabs. You don't have to do this. I just did this for myself because I like a crossbody bag. All right. So pattern piece number 1, right? This is going to be your front and back piece that you're using. And again, if you're not using the same pattern that I'm using, I will give you the measurements for the front, the back, the lining, everything you need. All right, so I'm using pattern piece number 1 from the pattern. This is your front and back. This will also be used for your lining and your facing pieces. All right, so pattern piece number 1 has multiple uses. So this is the front and back of the tote bag. This is the lining of the tote bag, and these are the facing pieces. I've cut all of this out using pattern piece number 1, and check the description box below, and I also write out a blog post with all the measurements for all of these pieces. All right, I am using pattern piece number 3. It says top on here, but I'm actually using these as my straps for this tote bag. So pattern piece number 3 I'm using as my strap, and if you want longer straps, cut pattern piece number 3 on the fold. If you want longer straps, all right, these shorter straps are fine with me because, like I said, I'm going to put a adjustable strap on mine a little bit later. But if you want longer straps that look more like the pattern, you want to cut pattern piece number 3 on the fold. And again, I know I've said this a lot. I will put the measurements in the description box below. And last but not least, I'm using pattern piece number 4, which is the actual strap pattern. But I'm using pattern piece number 4 as the panels for my recessed zipper. All right. So what I did, pattern piece number 4 is actually longer than this. I just folded back 2 inches on both sides because my separating zipper is 12 inches long. So what I did, I just folded back 2 inches on both sides because this actual pattern piece is 16 inches wide. So I cut it down to 12 because my separating zipper is 12. All right, and once you do that, you're going to need 4 of these recessed zipper panels. All right, so 4 of your recessed zipper panels, which I use pattern piece number 4 for that, just in case you're using the same pattern as me. For pattern piece number 3 that I'm using for my strap, I cut 2 of these. And remember, if you want longer straps, cut them on the fold. Cut 2. For my main bag, my lining and my facing, right? So my main bag, I cut 2 pieces. My lining, I cut 2 pieces. And my facing, I cut 2 pieces. And remember, if you're using a cotton cloth or a thin fabric, you want to use fusible fleece for your main bag. And for your lining, you want to use a non-woven interfacing. All right, so let's get started putting this together. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to work with pattern piece number 4, which is your recessed zipper panels. I'm going to work with these first, and I'm going to go ahead and put my recessed zipper together. All right, and remember, you have 4 of these. Right, so take 2 and set 2 aside. Unzip your zipper. All right, so as you can see, my separating zipper has extra tape here on the end. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want to sew over my hardware, right? Because this is where you put the zipper together to sew. You don't want to sew over that. So what I'm going to do is, since this end of my tape is a little bit longer, I'm going to slide this in down just a tad. And this is going to be a tight squeeze for me because my because with this particular zipper is not as long as my other separating zipper tape. So this is going to be a tight squeeze for me, so I'm going to have to use a really narrow seam allowance over here, which is fine, and I'm going to have to use a really narrow one over here. I'm just going to use my my finger to guide me, or I may even grab my marking pen and just mark so I'll know where to sew and where to stop. All right, so if your zipper is like mine, keep that in mind. Don't sew over your hardware on the end, okay? And you're going to take one side of the zipper and you're going to place it at the top of one of your recessed zipper panels, and you can use a clip to hold it in place. And take the second panel and place it with the right side facing down. Grab your clips. You're going to clip it all in place. So you're going to sew one end, you're going to sew up, across, and then down again. All right, and you're going to do the same thing to the other zipper piece. All right, let's take your panels, right, your zipper teeth is facing down, and then place the other piece with the right side facing down, meaning your two recessed zipper panels are right sides facing. Clip or pin and then sew in place. Okay, so now we have sewn the sides and across the top of our recessed zipper panel. I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess off the end here. And what you're going to do, you're going to turn this to the right side. And poke out all of your corners. All right, make sure all of your hardware is showing. So now you're going to take this to the ironing board, give it a good press, unless you're using a faux leather or cork or something like that. And then you're going to take it and you're going to top stitch all the way around. And I've already finished one side of it. So this is what it should look like once you finish. All right, so now that you have both of your recessed zipper panels done, go ahead and grab your two main pieces and place them with right sides facing. And you're going to pin or clip them together. All right, you're going to sew down both sides and you're also going to sew across the bottom. All right, so now that you've sewn down both sides and the bottom of your two main pieces, now you're going to create your gussets. These gussets measure 2.5 inches, so it's 2.5 inches here and 2.5 inches here. All right, so just make sure that you place that on your pattern if you're not using a tote bag pattern. And you actually don't have to draw out these actual gussets. You can just take your what I'm doing now. I put my hand here, and you want to match up your seam allowances. All right, and then pin or clip it in place, and you're going to sew across. Now if you don't have these actual gussets already cut out of your pattern, that's absolutely fine. You do the same exact thing, but just make sure you take a ruler and measure up, because you're going to have a corner here like a V corner. Measure up 2.5 inches, make a mark, and that's where you will sew across. And you'll do this on both sides. Now if you're going to add the adjustable strap like I am later on the right side of your bag at the side seam allowance, go ahead and you can place your strap tab there. I don't have my hardware on mine, but I'm going to place my hardware on here, fold it in half, and I'm going to clip it to the center of my seam allowance, my side seams, and then I'll just sew across, and that's how I'll keep my strap. That's how I'll sew my strap tabs on. But again, this is not necessary. I'm just going to add an adjustable strap to mine later on. And you'll do that on both sides because you'll have two strap tabs. So all right, you fold it in half. Pretend that my hardware is on here. You fold it in half, place it in the center of your side seam allowance, and then clip or pin, and then you'll just baste this in place. All right. Okay, so let's work on our two straps. All right, and yours may be longer than mine. If you wanted longer straps, you cut your straps on the fold, but mine are short. So what you're going to do, you of course need your ironing board. You're going to take one strap, and the same thing we do to one strap, we're going to do to the other. Fold it in half and press. Right, then you take one side and fold it to that crease in the middle and press. Do the same thing to the other side. Fold it to that crease in the middle and press. Right. Fold both sides to the middle and then fold them onto themselves. And press. All right. Once you get it all pressed together, you're going to take it and you're going to sew down both edges. So you'll sew down this edge and then you'll sew down this edge to make your strap nice and neat. And you'll do the same thing to the other strap. Now that you have your main bag sewn together with your gussets, and if you decide to add a adjustable strap, you also have your strap tabs sewn to the side. Now if you need to know how to make an adjustable strap, there's a video here on my channel. I'll link that in the description box below. So what you're going to do now, you're going to take your straps, and the first thing we need to do is find the center of our bag. Alright, so the center will be 7.5 for me. Alright, so I'm going to make a mark. I'm using my mat, so you all probably need to grab your rulers for this. And go ahead and from the center, measure out 2.5 inches. So from your center, measure 2.5 inches to the right and 2.5 inches to the left, and that's where you're going to place your straps. All right, so 2.5 from the left and 2.5 from the right. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now if you want your straps wider, go out 3.5. It's up to you. It just depends on how wide you want your straps. Alright, as a matter of fact, I think 3.5 looks a little bit better for me. Alright, so I'm going to add my strap to the other side as well. Once you have your straps clipped to both sides, go ahead and to your sewing machine and baste them in place, and then you'll set your main bag aside. Okay, so now let's work with your lining, one lining piece, one facing piece, and your one recessed zipper panel. So what you're going to do, you're going to find the center of your lining. Right. You're also going to find the zipper of your facing and your recessed zipper panel. Right. And place your recessed zipper panel in the center, and make sure that your zipper teeth, they're facing down, and also that the zipper pull is facing up towards you. So your zipper teeth are facing down and your zipper pull is facing up towards you. And then once you find your center of your facing piece, place that with the right side facing down at the center. You're going to take some clips, clip this in place. and you're going to sew down the top edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. All right. Okay, I have one side of my lining with the recessed zipper panel done. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to take my other recessed zipper panel and I'm going to zip my zipper. All right. That way you know at least that part is correct. Alright, so what you're going to do now, is take your other lining piece, place your recessed zipper panel in the center just like we did before, but a way that you can do that to make sure it's all lined up, just make sure your lining that's already sewn, just make sure everything is lined up here on the sides. That way you'll know you're at the center. So remember, your zipper pull is facing up, all right? And your two lining pieces are right sides facing. Now take the facing and place it face down. The right side of your facing is facing the right side of your recessed zipper panel. And your zipper pull is facing up. You always want to make sure your zipper pull is facing the facing. Alright? Because otherwise you won't be able to unzip. And you're going to pin or clip this together. Take it to the sewing machine and sew down 1/2 inch just like you did the other side. And I did some top stitching before. When I did the other side, I top stitched across the facing and the recessed zipper just so it would lay down nice and neat. Alright, so now that you have added your recessed zipper panels to your lining and your facing, you can unzip your zipper and then you want to line these pieces up. Right, so line your pieces up and you're going to pin or clip down both sides just like you did the main bag. Make sure everything is lined up nice and neat. And you want to leave an opening in one side of your bag. Doesn't matter what side. Just leave an opening in one of your sides. So I pinned from the top and I stopped about 4 inches down. And then I pinned from the bottom about 2 inches. Right? So I'll sew down, I'll stop, take my needle out and then come down here and start to sew down here again to leave my opening in the side, or you can leave the opening in the bottom. It's up to you. I find that I like the opening in the side better because it is hidden a little bit nicer in the bag. But whatever you decide, whether you decide to leave an opening in the side or the bottom, it's up to you. Just make sure you leave an opening. Alright, so you're going to take it and sew down the sides and the bottom, remembering to leave an opening. And you're also going to sew your gussets just like you sew your gussets in your main bag. And then we'll come back and we'll put our bag together. Okay, so now that you have your lining all sewn together, and you left an opening either in the side or the bottom, leave your opening with the right side facing, your lining, sorry, and take your main bag and place it on the inside of your lining. You may have to unzip your zipper a little bit more. Alright, tuck in your straps. and you're going to pin or clip all the way around. I like to start at my side seams to make sure my side seams match up. Once you have this clipped all the way around, you're going to take it to the sewing machine and sew around in 1/2 inch. Once you're done sewing, use the opening that you left in the lining to turn this to the right side. And then you'll stuff your lining on the inside of the bag. And once you have your lining on the inside of the bag and you're satisfied how everything looks, you're going to go back to the sewing machine and do 2 things. You're going to close up the opening that you left in the lining, and you're also going to top stitch around the bag, and then you'll be done. Right, so I am going to trim my seam allowance down to about 1/4 inch. I'm going to use the opening that I left in the side and turn this to the right side. Right. So you close up the opening that you left in the lining, tuck your lining on the inside of the bag. This includes your facing with your recessed zipper. Get everything all nice and neat. There are my strap tabs. Right. Once you have everything tucked in, all nice and neat, if you're using a cotton cloth or fabric that can be pressed, you can take it to the ironing board, give it a good press, and then top stitch all the way around, and you are all done. I'm going to zip up my zipper really quick so I can show you. If I can find my zipper pull, I'm going to do that. Alright. The fabric is a little colorful, so I don't know how well you can see that, but I have my recessed zipper now in my tote bag. Alright guys, that's it. Now you have a tote bag with a recessed zipper. If you have any questions, please place them in the comments below and I will answer them as quick as I can. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And I would love it if you would take a look at some of the other tutorials on my channel. And let me know what you think. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the notification bell to be notified each time I post a new tutorial or video. If you have any suggestions on any tutorials, please also let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video.